everybody, it's Amanda from Scrimpingmommy.co.uk, and today I'm going to show you this project which looks a little bit like one of my dogs has jumped on it. This is my template, and so just thought I'd show you how my pool of mind works when I'm coming up with ideas. Now I will say, because I'm not the kind of person to see a design that's not mine and then claim it is or not give correct credit, I will say that I did see this on Pinterest, and the lady's blog that it came from, her name was veritycards.blogspot.co.uk. It was quite an old post, and she'd created this like picnic basket style box, and I do believe she worked for Creative Expressions. So I've kind of borrowed her idea, and I'm making a picnic basket, and it will hold note cards or birthday cards or a collection of cards, because when it's done it does measure 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, so you can fit your normal standard C6 cards in there. Okay, I'm not going to make the cards, I'm just going to show you the box. So after some playing about with the measurements, this is what I've come up with. Now I will tell you that I do use, if I can just show you, don't know, but as you can see, I use the backing from DSP stacks. I get quite a collection of these because I do kits and stuff, and I buy a lot of DSP, then I do have them, and it's lovely and sturdy. If not, use, you know, what you've got, the best weight that you can. It does need to be 12 by 12, okay, because some of the longer measurements are the full 12 inches. Alright, so I've got all of the measurements there. I'll quickly run through them, but they will all be on my blog as well. Just type into your Google search bar Scrimpingmommy.co.uk, and Scrimping Mommy is all one word. If you type that in your Google search bar in your computer, then you will come across my blog. Okay, so to create the actual box, we need a piece which is 10 3/4 by 8 3/4. The base, because we've got a base for it to stand on to make it more sturdy, is 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. This is the lid that lifts up like the picnic basket lid. This is 10 3/4 by 5. The handle is 1 1/2 by 12, and we have a middle support that the lid sits on so that it opens at both ends. And this measures 1 inch by 9 inch. So all of these measurements and the scoring measurements will all be on my blog. So first of all, we need to score this at 2 inches on all 4 sides. And what I've done to make sure I don't accidentally cut my paper, I've removed my score blade, because I'm always doing it. And as soon as I've done it, I could cry. So I've taken my blade out. So we're scoring on all 4 sides at 2 inches. In fact, I want it to be that way because I want that writing there to be on the inside. And then you just create, you know, your standard box. You cut your flaps, you fold it in. Really, really easy. Okay. So I will just, and this is lovely and thick, this backing. It might be a long video, I'll just warn you. I don't like to cut bits out. I might pause it before I start decorating and give you a warning to go and get a brew. Okay. So there we go. So all we do is cut up there. Cut up that score line, and I'm just going to notch it, just because when it goes together I don't want to be able to see the edge of that cardstock. Don't want to see it, I want it to fit in nice and snug, so I'm notching, and then we'll go around that way. Okay, so you can fast forward this bit if you want, making the box, up to you. I shan't be offended. I just won't talk to you ever again. I love making boxes and things. I absolutely adore making cards. I don't find that they are my best. They're not my strength, but I do love making them. I love teaching them, but making boxes and little albums and things like that are just my cup of tea. I absolutely love it. Okay. Obviously you can construct it out of whatever colour you want. I'm using white just because I'm using this DSP backing. So now we need to stick that down. And in the absence of fast fuse, I'm going to have to start and use my red line tape. I'm just going to get some cheapo scissors. These are my stamping snips and these are my cheapo scissors. Don't use your stamping snips cutting red line tape because you'll get them all sticky and icky. You don't want that. So I always have a separate cheapo pair of scissors for my red line tape and things like that. Okay. I don't know how to cut parts out. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry, I don't know how to. Well, I do, but it takes me forever. So hence I don't edit my videos. And I just like to have a chat while I'm crafting. So you can just fast forward it while I create this box. But you don't know, you might miss some. You might miss some vital information if you fast forward it. It's unlikely. You probably just miss me rambling on. Okay. And there we go. My videos at the moment are down to 3 a week. I did manage to get up to 7 at one point, and I was blogging every day. I was doing really well. I was doing really well. And then what happened was, what's happened is that doing videos every single day isn't always feasible. I'll always come and do them as often as I can, and if I'm quiet business wise one week, I'll do more videos and more blogging. But if I'm busy, then it will be 3 times a week, because I'm getting very busy with my various kits that I do within my Stampin' Up business, and my team is growing, so they need time as well. And I'm also trying to prioritise not working all of the time, because I can be guilty of being a workaholic. So I'm trying to not be a workaholic and not work the weekends unless I absolutely have to, because it's not fair on my little girl. Although she's got sisters, they're all older than her and they've all left home, so basically she's dependent on me, bless her. So it's not fair to be just working. So there you go. I'll just give you my life story while I cut up my red line tape. It's very easy to get all consumed and think that work is the be all and end all of life. But, you know, it's just a job. But I do love my crafting. I love my creating. And I'll never ever give it up. It's as simple as that. Not my fingers could fall off and I would hot glue them back on. That's the saying, isn't it? Right, so I'm going to create this box now. And this is super sturdy, this cardstock. I love it. It's a shame they don't do cardstock like as thick as this and sell it in packs, because I would buy it. I would, for making your boxes, or, you know, it's strong enough for making mini albums, and it's awesome. Awesome stuff. Don't throw it away, whatever you do. And sometimes, like with the foiled papers and stuff, you get chipboard. Heck, that, you know, and it's free. You're getting it for free. Don't throw it in bins, save it. You can make all sorts out of that, you know, brown coloured chipboard. Brilliant for mini albums. Line it with DSP, make your covers. It's just, it's brilliant, and it's so sturdy. I mean, that is going nowhere. Much as I love Whisper White cardstock, sometimes it's not the best for making boxes. Sometimes the coloured cardstock's better, and the reason for that is not because it's a different weight, because it's not, it's all the same weight, but the Whisper White cardstock has been through some rollers and it's been squished and squashed like that, so that it's lovely and smooth. And the reason they do that is because that increases the quality for your stamping. So if sometimes you think the Whisper White is a bit thinner, it's not, it's just been squished. And that's the reason why. Full of useful information, aren't I? Right, so now I'm going to stick on my base. There we go. Now, I wonder if I can round the corners on that. I don't know, it might be a bit thick. Don't know if my corner rounder will work, so I'm just going to try it on a piece of scrap that's the same weight before I wreck my base. Oh, yes, it will. I wasn't sure if my punch would cut it. So that's the base. We don't need to score the base. I'm just going to round those corners. I just think they look nicer. Okay. And then we're going to sit the box on the base like so. So I'm going to use wet glue for this. Reason being that I can line it up easier and I've got wiggle room, whereas with your red line tapes and things like that, once you've committed, that's it. you know, you've married it. You're stuck with it for life, whether you like it or not. It's one of them. So I'm gonna use wet glue, and then I'm going to line that up on there. And I'm going to just look all around, and I'm going to get that as central on that base as I can. You know, if it's not 100% perfect, you know, don't worry too much, but try your best to get it right. Okay, that'll do for me. That's not so bad. I'm not going to stress over it forever. I'll just give that a press all inside there. And that is my little base. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to set that to one side to dry a moment. And then I'm going to construct my lid. So here's my lid, 10 3/4 by 5. And we're going to score at 2, 4 7/8, 5 7/8, and 8 3/4. Again, it will all be on my blog. Where am I? There we go. Let me just work that down so I can see the measurements. So we're scoring at 2 first. So 2, then 4 7/8, 4 7/8, 5 7/8. Just lift my arm out. And 8 3/4. 8 3/4 is there. Okay. Let's move that out of the way 1 minute. Get my bone folder. So these want folding up and those want folding down. Okay, so this is the flap. And that one's folding down. What have I got on here? Don't even know what that is. So we're folding those inwards. And then these two we're folding the opposite way. Okay. So then you've got that kind of a look. Okay. So this will attach to your box, and then these flaps are the, you know, the lid. Will go up and down like a picnic basket. So we'll set that to one side. Shall I round those corners as well? I think I will. I think I'm going to round those. I just think it looks prettier than squared. Let's hope it doesn't make it be short on the measurements now. I don't think it will. I'm going to move that to one side. So now we've just got our support for the centre and our handle. So we'll do the scoring on the support, and it wants scoring at each end at 2 inches. I'm just going to leave the sticker on so I know which piece it is, else I'll forget me. 2 inch and 2 inch again. Okay. And then the handle here is, we need to score at, what do I need to score it at? I don't need to score that one. You don't need to score that. We'll just curve it slightly, like so. Okay. So now we need to attach our handle and our support. So what we need to do there is, we need to get our box. Okay. I'm going to get a little pencil. Have I got one with no ending? Do you know? Oh my goodness. I've got a tin full of pencils and every one I pick up as blunt. So what we need to do is, we need to find the middle of here, because we're going to attach this strip on the inside and then we want our handle on the outside. So I know that my box, I need to measure from the edge there, I need to measure 2 7/8. Okay, which is there. I'm just going to put a very gentle line, and then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to go 2 7/8 from the other side as well. It's about there. Okay, so then my handle and my support on the inside needs to go between those 2 lines. I'll do it on the other side. 2 7/8. Turn it around. 2 7/8. Just use pencil, it'll rub out. And there we go. Okay. So now I need to attach this one on the inside and the handle on the outside. So I'm going to, again, I'm going to use wet glue so that, because it's got to be lined up precisely for it to work, I don't want it to be wrong. So you do need to get this lined up right, otherwise your lid will be out of line. Okay, so there we go. Is that right? 2 7/8. Is that for the handle? Okay, 2 7/8. I'm not sure if that's right. Let me just check. I think I've cut my strip to, I think I've cut this strip to too wide. Doesn't need to be that wide. Why have I cut it that wide? 1 inch. That's bigger than 1 inch, that. Let's get rid of that piece and start again, because I don't want it to be wrong. I've cut it too wide. So the support in the middle needs to be 1 inch by 9 inch. So let me start that again. Thought it didn't look right. 9 inch. I'll have to put my blade back on now. 9 inch by 1 inch. Yeah, is that right now? Score at each end at 2. Thought it didn't look right. Have I cut my handle the wrong size as well then? Let me have a look. Handle 1.5 by 2, that's where I went wrong. I cut the same size for the middle strip as I did for the handle. There you go. Okay, we're back on track. Didn't think it looked right. So again, back in the centre there, line it up between the 2 marks, and then that is in the right place. panic over. And put that one there like so. Okay. Just give that a minute to dry. And then we can attach our centre part on. And our handle. So now our centre wants to be glued onto that supportive strip there. Okay. Let me just give that a bit of a rub. Make sure that's dry because I've used wet glue. I would leave it to dry in between, ladies and gents. Just leave it to dry in between. Okay. I haven't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. Okay, so now we need to glue this section onto here. Okay, make sure you've got it lined up perfect. Some things don't have to be perfect, this does. Okay. Okay, get it in right. Okay. Give that a press. If you're confident at your, you know, that where you place things are going to be in exactly the right place, you can use red line tape. I'm not always confident and I don't want to have to redo it all. So hence I've used wet glue. Okay. So that is my lid, like so. And it fits lovely. There we go. And now, and it's just a sliver of a cat's hair short is the lid, rather than protruding over the box. And the reason for that is because we're going to put a handle here. We want these to move freely with the handle on. So that is why it's just a sliver shorter than the box. There's a reason for that. That's not a miscalculation. So now we're going to attach our handle. I'm just going to, in fact, I'll use red line tape for that, because I'm quite confident I can stick that on straight. Hopefully. And then I shall go away and decorate it. Now I may well decorate it on a separate video, because I have a feeling this is going to be an awfully long video. Okay. Now that bit of writing there doesn't particularly bother me. If you're using one of these and it bothers you, line it with DSP. Doesn't bother me. Okay. So I'm going to remove that red line tape there. Now let me, yeah. So I'm going to line my handle up round about there, round about there, and the same at the other side. I am doing that bit by eye. I haven't measured that. You could do if you really wanted to. Okay. And if you want your handle longer or shorter, just adjust the measurements. I'm going to just pop that there like so. And that is our little box, our little picnic basket. Let me zoom out ever so slightly out. That's our little picnic box constructed, and that is lovely and sturdy. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to decorate it. We're also going to attach something up to keep these closed, probably some either magnets or some Velcro. So I will be back in part 2. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Don't forget, all of the measurements are over on my blog at scrimpingmommy.co.uk. Bye for now.